Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. I do hope you actually stick around the entire time. Um, and I will. Oh, damn. Yeah, I do need to fix it. Okay. Boom, and save. Anyways, let's get on to the actual meat of the whole thing. Um. I probably should have done this earlier. I'm gonna be putting this in the self promo of Cloudy Joy Studios Discord, in which case I should probably also wait, hold on. Let me duplicate the tab. Cross my fingers it's not crazy zoomed in or whatever. Alright. Let me actually put this in the chat. Um, I'm just gonna go back into the YouTube studio and post this link. Oh, nice. Um, in here. Also, thank you to Kidder Girl Anime. Did it? Hold on. Let's just stick that out there. Let's try that again. Thank you to Kitty Girl Anime 121. I really need to get that whole follower thing fixed. Damn. But also, thank you to Crazy Green Fox. I don't know if I've called you out yet. I've seen you in the chat, Gamer, before. Um, I should probably be over in multi-stream. I don't know why it isn't letting me type in chat here. Oh, dang. Huh. Huh. Well, it appears as if I can't even send messages on Twitch. Lovely. All this is coming up 4 days away from my 1 year stream anniversary. Which I should say, I do not have any footage of the event, period. My debut was pretty fun, honestly, although I kept forgetting to actually take a look at chat. It went for 4 hours, apparently, from about a bit around 5 a.m. to around 9 a.m. when my friends told me that I needed to, like, stop streaming and actually, get dressed. I mean, nowadays I'm a lot more, like, low-key and everything. I've learned like in this year that I shouldn't expect monetization. Of course, like apparently I need to go through all these tax things just to get monetization going and everything. And I'm like, there's only one person who actually has the ability to do that, and they are always busy. Lovely. Hopefully, I can get them tomorrow. But there's every chance that they'll get too busy and forget about that as well. Anyways, let me copy and paste that into here and save. Let's see. Video link live. Um, Good. It's not actually going. Now, will you load up the rest of the way? Thank you. Good. It loaded properly. Don't know why it double pings me for that though. That's annoying. Either way, I'd say it's time that we actually, get over to the thing. So this is Cloudy Joy's page. Let me just zoom out. And nope, 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 nope. There we go. And we'll just it starts off with that, like episode 1, then episode 2, all the way up until episode 12. I'm trying to remember which ones. I think Uncovering Secrets is the one. Come on, stop it. A quick TLER. I'm just gonna switch over to playlists. View full playlist. So, episode 1, I'm pretty sure we didn't actually have any actual voice actors except for herself and whoever played the headmaster, which honestly, I don't know who played the headmaster, and I'd like to know. Um, as I don't believe he is ever listed in the cast. Oh, Lil Monks. Uh, yes. Search Google for Lil Monks. Only Lil Monks. Only this. No. No! Yes. How the hell? Like, who? And Silverwood. Then this mysterious voice is Wildcats. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No way. No freaking way. Wildcats. This person here is the most active person, is the most commonly online person in the cast. Alright, I have posted them officially in the Discord, and we might as well get into this. But we have like Benji NSK. NSK is actually a pretty cool guy. There's a pretty good chance that he's actually going to be um, there's a, damn it. There's a pretty good chance that he's actually going to be like in stream, like in the collab that I'm talking about potentially doing with all the people. But I'm pretty sure. Let's just pull up this transcript.
It's Latin, meaning Book of the Winged.
That's actually like Alatus is actually it's what inspired the name Alatos for my VTuber character and everything. Honestly, I hate to admit it to anyone who thinks that I'm just like coming up with all these original things. Novacrest Academy, from the get go, inspired so much of what I've done. From the winged character, like from Phoenix being a winged character to the name Phoenix being a thing, like um, to the name Alatos, um, to there being a time dilation in World 30 and World 72. Um, there is so much about what I've done that is directly tying back to Novacrest Academy. Even Endercrest Academy, the sequel series, what was originally the sequel series to World 72, is a direct play on Novacrest Academy. And even then, its main character, its female main character, Joy Nuvola, is a play on Cloudy Joy. I may have a cool idea, but this thing here, this this series inspired so much of what I've done. And it is it is so cool to finally see a new episode coming out. Anyway, so like we have this scene. Let's go full screen. Hic liber est commentarius omnium discipulorum alarum in Novacrest in Academia Novacrest. In hoc textu historia malatarum personarum describimus et quomodo personae magicae aeris persona sit. Nobilissima familia notissima est habere magicam aeris et habere alas est regalis. Praeter alatos, see, right there, that word. Familia regia etiam forma magicam antiquae artis cum aere suo magico intricatam habent. Prae clarissimus discipulus qui magicam aeream, aeream, magicam antiquam, iuncit penas possessas, esse dicitur nefele. Nefele membrum est regalis familiae, et locum tenet studio sumo studio in Novacrest Academy, in Novacrest Academia, sicut per hanc editionem. Hic liberes gestas eius delineabi et reliquos utentes magici aeris alati. So, typing all that out into Google Translate. I don't know what it's going to look like now, but... Bada bing, bada boom. Nope. Okay. You're gonna see what I'm going for in a minute, in a moment. I'm currently typing this out in another window, split screen and everything on Google Translate. Yes, I know it's Google Translate. It's. I swore a year ago that I swore over a year ago that I wouldn't be using Google Translate for this, and here we are. But honestly, I kept on banging my head against a wall, and I honestly could not get to the point where I could actually translate this. So Google Translate it is. Um, whoa, 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 All right, uh, let me get this dragged over back to here. Um, ack. Let me just copy this over and 703. Um, this book is a record of all the winged students at Novacrest Academy. In this text, we describe the history of these winged individuals and the nature of their magical affinity for the air. A most noble family is renowned for possessing air magic, and the possession of wings is a mark of royalty. In addition to their wings, the royal family also commands an ancient form of magic intertwined with their innate air magic. Nefele is the most distinguished student to have combined air magic with this ancient magic. She is said to possess wings. Nefele is a member of the royal family and, as of this edition, is a dedicated student at Novacrest Academy. This book outlines her achievements as well as those of other winged users of air magic. And my original idea was this book is the commentary of all the winged students in Novacrest Academy. In this text, we describe the history of the winged persons and the means by which a person may become of the people of the magic of the air. Um, I was so wrong with that last part. Um, but I actually do have, over in theories, I believe. Um, let's see here. Um, Trying to see when I joined. Um, yeah, so Yeah. This is honestly a really interesting thing here. So we have here that this person, this mysterious person, we didn't really understand the nature of this Nefele person, is a student. And apparently it looks like she combined air magic and this unknown ancient magic. Um, what that ancient magic is unknown. And a potential theory that I have now is that the unknown person in her dreams um, trying to see. Oh yeah, here. I'm just gonna skip ahead.
Joy. That voice. It's the same one from the archives.
So if we zoom in here, you see we have another person here. My suspicion is that this person here, this girl, is Nefele or Nephele. Although, granted, the fact that Nephele looks like Nephilim is a little concerning, but that could be just me being paranoid. But even so, like, honestly, this I'm kind of I'm kind of pissed I didn't do this earlier. It would have saved me a lot of headache. But I'm gonna scroll down back here again. Oh, I love this. Caspian, wear something that shrouds your face. Joy has big, beautiful, identifiable angel wings. Like, come on. I mean, I guess they didn't really think that part through, but
Wait. You're. You're me.
well, she's not quite. There are differences. I mean, if we're being kind of frank, like, and we can see a good turnaround of Joy's character. Yeah, you can see that Joy. I mean, I'm just gonna get down to it. Like, Joy clearly has the body of a teen to young adult, while the woman here very clearly looks like a woman. Like there's no mistaking that. My suspicion, and this is all just bullshit, by the way. I'm just bullshitting this as we go. But um, my theory here is that Nephile is this woman, might even be Joy's mom. Um, if we go back and yeah, oh, but we had theorized over a year ago, um, and I'm gonna be um, so I actually um, I I'm actually gonna check, but I think I joined March 3rd. No, no, sorry, March 6th. And then on the 7th, I posted that I was working on translating the Libera Latus page. And then then I did like at everyone, which honestly, I it was something that I would have done as an edgelord teen guy, which let's be real, I was an edgelord teen guy back then, like super immature. But what I said, um, my suspicion back then was, and I quote, perhaps from what I can gather, the nobilissima familia et habere alas est regalis, and familia regia sua magico intricatam habent. So, the people who can manipulate air are from a royal line, and that means that since Joy can manipulate air, she must therefore be coming from a royal line. I continue. Perhaps during the extermination omnem latarum, in other words, of all that had wings, one of the winged must have fled the realms for Earth, hidden their wings, or maybe just didn't have wings at all. Potential backstory here. Married and had children. Since Joy doesn't return to Earth once she enters the realms, we're not quite certain about the time dilation between the two. Let's just say that the realms move faster time-wise than Earth, which would account for how Joy's magic is so much stronger than it would have been had she undergone the centuries of genetic disintegration expected of of a recessive trait over centuries. Which I'm not quite sure where I got the recessive trait from. Again, this is over a year ago. I was talking about this on March 7th. Um, but I, it would make sense for a magical trait to be a recessive trait, especially like when you compare it to plain blood humans. I continued. Plus, since she's an orphan, a highly plausible theory. I don't know where I came up with that. Like highly plausible. Like this is just a bullshit upon bullshit idea. And I'm not saying that like all this is just bullshit, but it's like I'm basically bullshitting it. I'm just going through it, just on the fly. But my idea was that her very young mother, dying of a fatal wound granted her by members of the Eye, managed to create a portal to Earth, or just use one of the portals already there, maybe how she attained said fatal wound, where she managed to give birth to Joy at the orphanage, dying hours later. Move forward about 18 years of our time, but 900 of theirs, and Joy returns. And I asked, how'd I do? Um, which we do not have enough information at this time. Everything is completely based in speculation, except for the page, which, again, if I can read it, talks about how a noble family, how nobility has air magic, and royalty has wings, and royalty also has an ancient magic that isn't specified, that is intertwined with their air magic. As well as the fact that this girl named Nephele is the most distinguished is a most distinguished student, and that she combined air magic with ancient magic, and that she has wings, um, and that she's a royal. The book hypothetically would outline her achievements as well as the other achievements of winged people, except for one small problem. This text This text is all we have. That's it. Not even Joy remembers. Oh, shoot, I forgot. Oh, man. And as I was saying, like, this text here. What the hell just happened? But this text that we have here, that's all we got. That's all the information about Nephele, about this air magic thing, at least at the moment. Hmm.
Me?
And
You're so grown. Your wings are beautiful, as I imagined they'd be.
this makes me also think that this is her mother. So I'm in two camps here. Um, I'm just gonna pull up a Google Doc. Actually, let me first switch to a safe thing just in case. Okay, yep, it's trying to use my actual like sign in. Not this one. My alt account, please. Let me go to my alt account. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I should also say that this logo here is AI generated. I have yet to actually replace it. Please don't hate me for it. Um, Come on. Let's see. Share. I'm gonna be posting it. And so, first up, let me actually just bump this size up a bit. Uh, so like the second option is taken from that line. So, I would just, yeah, fine. But we have these options where technically the third option could potentially be that could Nephele be Joy's mother? Let me just bullet point that one. Then we have the scenes with the. Now, mind you, like, I expect this series to be going on for a while.
You're so grown. Your wings are beautiful, as I imagined they'd be.
Who are you? Why are you in my dreams?
Don't forget.
Don't forget. Forget what?
Our time has run out. Until next time.
I mean, also the laurel crown, that kind of like, because the laurel crown is, especially a golden laurel crown, is the symbol of victory. So you'd expect like the best of the best to have a laurel crown. But again, like we're dealing with very little information here. Let me pull you back to how many episodes we have. We have 12 episodes. And when it comes down to it, we just don't have all that much. But then in the Theory channel, which by the way, the link is in the description. Like there's the in the Theory channel, like we started talking about the whole thing, and then like the Alatarib isn't a family name. Like that partially inspired me to like have Alatos be a family name. And then 447, March 9th, 2025. I'm pretty sure 2025, March 9th. March 9th? Excuse me. March 9th? How did I have like library access on March 9th? What? That's gotta be a mistake, because like this time frame. Oh my word. How would I have had access to it on a Sunday? Because the library is closed. Oh well. But what Nephele has to do with anything, or like the Mr. System? No, it's an actual name. And then there's like my email and whatnot. Then I was like, Nephele could also be the ablative singular for Nephel. No, it's a name. It's a name. And then this one guy's like, my theory is she'll fly like a pigeon soon. And then like over a month later, it's like, no theories have been shared in a month. So a crazy idea was that air is too powerful, so Joy is the bad guy and not the cult guys. And so once Joy proves she's not hostile, they will leave her alone, and then a new big bad will reveal themselves. I was like, I mean, that could be a potential idea, but there's no actual build up to that. Like, Joy being the villain somehow is entirely antithetical. And not to dog on Cloudy Joy at all, but this is a story that you'd expect from someone who's just starting out. They wouldn't have like she doesn't she wouldn't have, to the best of my knowledge, because again, I don't know Joy. Let me be clear. I do not know Joy personally. I mean, I'd love to know her personally. She sounds like a really cool person. But as I said, actually, Joy would never write herself as a villain. Um, and even if she did, like, it would be such a tone reversal. It just doesn't fit in there, and it's the kind of thing that, like, a lot of these story beats are obvious, though confusing. They're still like obvious as clues. So having Cloudy Joy suddenly like pop this on us would be extremely confounding. It would not make any sense. But the idea is Primini Tex, which Primini Tex and I are two of the biggest theorizers um, that we have here. Huh. This one guy shows up. I think he actually was one of Joy's ex-friends or something, but he's no longer there. Um, but he says, playing on the translation that had been achieved some time ago, that quote, to have wings is royal. My mistranslation, by the way. Pulling it back to this, what it meant was the possession of wings is a mark of royalty. And the other translation of the book that hint at the royal family running from something. Um, I don't know where the whole running from something came from. Um, and in the latest episode at the time, which, mind you, was in April. So let me try this. Also, like, these two episodes are kind of a two-parter, and this episode really got us like tingling. Um, like April 30th, April 30th. Um, come on. Yeah. Okay, so it was in episode 11. But he said that in the latest episode, which would have been that day, that she had been found on the doorstep of an orphanage when I was young. Notice that Joy said young, not when they were a baby, meaning she was probably around 3 to 5, based on the average of how old people are when they start having their earliest memories. So, since we have gathered the information that whoever these royals are the ones who have wings, and that they had ran away from something long ago, we can play around with an idea that Joy was around when these royals had run away, and using someone else's theories, mine, we could say time moves differently in the human realm than the magical realm. So, using someone else's theory, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be like, uh, but so assuming Joy was around when these royals left, we can say she had the ability to fly back when, and that when her family, she had the ability to fly way back when, and that when she and her family had fled the danger, they had hidden not only their abilities but their wings as well. Or, even if time doesn't flow differently and it is a continuous time flow, then Joy would be the descendant of a royal line of magic users. Then Jack chimes in, you realize this is the same Joy that is a thief in a certain other series, Pink's Joy. Cough, cough, roomies. Cough, cough. By the way, Joy was a character in the series Roomies by Claudia and and Jack. I keep wanting to say literally Jack. Literally, Jack is a different dude than this Jack. Um, so honestly, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't personally think it's what will happen. But if it does, you are one sly, enjoyable rider joy. And she's like shrugs, like zipped up emoji, and then it's called impermanent borrowing, Jack. Oh, you're right, you're right, you're right. Blah 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 blah. Um, After reviewing further, I think this episode really does assist with this theory because flight is an instinct within every creature that who can fly, and since Joy is the most likely last in her line, that instinct would be multiplicative for survival, allowing her to achieve her power quicker than she is supposed to. I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Great theorizing. And then I put out the very out there theory. Headmaster Carmichael is the leader, if not a member, of the Eye. And honestly, I have to say, that theory, um, that um, this theory here, I can tell you right now, that is the most likely theory that I have. My reasoning was that in episode 3, as he walks Joy back to her rooms, he says something along the lines of, things may seem insignificant now, but they'll be important later. If we can pull back to here, and then go to the transcripts, because always go, like, if you're looking for something that's said in the video, always go to transcripts. Come on. Transcripts. Yes. Thank you. Oh, Professor Wolfgang. I forgot that he was in this episode.
And over there, and he'll tell you what to do.
I should also say that, damn, she doesn't even link them. But yeah, she had the Discord and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, he sounds like he was voiced by an 8 to 12-year-old trying to sound old. But we have all this.
The reason I called you here today was because the professors and I have finally discovered what your element is.
I should also say that the eye being right there, that was a huge clue. Especially like in the intro. He's literally like shown to be punching at the eye. I'm just gonna double speed it. That way it'll be easier.
After reading through the scriptures and cross-referencing the podium with old text, we are pleased to announce that your element seems to be air.
Air, sir.
Indeed, from the small amount of information we've been able to gather, the element seems to allow for those to harness wind to move beings and objects in ways indiscernible to the human eye. It also appears that with greater training, masters of said element can influence the temperature of their surroundings and even affect the weather on a much larger scale.
I don't think it was episode 3 though. Stop it! There we go.
The Academy's top student. That must be...
Ah? Why are we screaming?
I almost forgot. We have after-school clubs.
Yeah. Why are we screaming? Oh, okay. Alright. And here we have it literally shifting to the eyes, people. Also, why does that look so sinister? But then we have like this, and
I have called you all here today on a matter of great importance. It appears that the air elementals have not been wiped out, as we once believed. There is a child, an orphan that was hidden from the eye in the human realm. She has returned,
so
a student at Novacrest, as it happens. See to it that the child is eradicated before she is able to impose damage onto the work we've done to achieve all that we have.
wait a minute. Why is there? Honestly, this looks a lot like the natural texture pack, except like really, really high definition. And that, I believe, is an elytra that's been retextured. But damn, like it looks like it looks like it's supposed to be the severed wings of one of the royals. And based off its size, it could very well be the severed wings of a child. Um, it's almost confirmed that they were that the eye was behind the massacre of everyone else. The air elementals have not been wiped out as we once believed. There is a child, an orphan that was once hidden from the eye in the human realm. I'm gonna try to get to like, I'm gonna have to add like a Firefox capture. Um, add source. Up. Close. Actually, let me just delete that. Yes. Okay. Um, window capture. Add source. Add source. Shrink. Oh, dang it. Shrink it down. Shrink it down. Fit it in there. Fill it back up. Then drag it on down. Hide the webcam. Turn on VC face. There we go. Now I'm in the way. Okay, come on. Let's scoot you over here. I have no clue. Anyway. My goodness. But you have here, like, the air elementals have not been wiped out as we once believed. There is a child, an orphan, that was hidden from the eye in the human realm. But she has returned. A student at Novacrest, as it happens. See to it that the child is eradicated before she is able to impose damage to the work we've done to achieve all that we have. I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to be saying here. Like, the captioning wasn't all that great when this was made. I'd love to be able to get this stuff, but the whole like he's. I should also say that, and a lot of this was just like bullshitted. Again, like it was all just made up on the fly. But my idea was that the next clue was that the leader of the Eye had said something. No, the first character voiced by someone other than Cloudy Joy Studios was the headmaster, voiced by I don't know who the hell the guy was again. Like I'm sorry, he's a nobody. Let's just be frank. Like for all intents and purposes, he's just nobody. Um, but The next big clue was that the leader of the Eye said something about sending the quote apprentice to deal with Joy, and then Elliot almost decides to shove her off the lookout to what would have definitely had been her death, because at that time she was clueless how to fly. It was only really in, I believe, episode 11 that she learned how to fly, but he chooses not to. Like there's at the end of episode 11, he then talks about like how he doubts that what he's doing is right. He's being really regretful. Then Primini Tex was like, yeah, good theory. I was thinking the same thing as well about the headmaster being the leader of the Eye and Elliot being the one to do it. But also what he said, says he was the only one who was kind and greeting to Joy, and when she was kind, he was still oddly too nice to her, as if hiding things. I'm not quite sure what that is saying, but yeah, it's really interesting. But one of the people was like when I was like, Joy would never write herself as a villain. She was like, well, maybe as an unintentional villain. I didn't write it well, but basically they think they are the good guys, as some of the air peeps before her became mad with power and killed lots of people. So now they're scared that Joy will follow the same path. Um, huh. And then on July 2nd, which was, mind you, the final episode, like from here on out, everything stated is based off everything we already know. There is no new information from this point on. First up, the nightmare sequence was interesting. Like I had become convinced that Nefele, this person who had evaded my comprehension, because like I didn't really understand because I was trying to translate it all on my own. It was a person that she kept seeing. The whole sequence of events with this nightmare is just so lore heavy, and it basically confirmed my theory about Elliot being the apprentice and his father being the villain. Next, after the prejudiced teacher and Professor Wolfgang being, well, Professor Wolfgang, I swear to goodness, like if you do not watch this, like you need to watch the series yourself. Again, 4 days until the episode is released. That will potentially tie a lot of these loose ends together. We get to the student council meeting. Elliot was being very standoffish. That was the biggest warning sign. He's starting, like, I was thinking that he was starting to lean into the evil rule that was supposed to have happened at the start. Then Caspian runs in, slamming Elliot against the wall, declaring, "Oh, you've deceived everyone." Joy freaks out, making everyone pass out. And like it honestly really interested me back then, like how much the voices had changed. Her voice had changed as she's like saying the names of her friends. Like she starts out with Elliot sounding terrified, and then at the end when she gets to Caspian, she gasps and, as I said, almost sounds loving. I know it's probably just me, but I suspect Caspian and Joy will become a thing. Which, granted, the most powerful student of that year, plus the most powerful student overall, the only person who had that, there's probably going to be some chemistry going on with that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me educate you. Let's just go back to normal. Okay, let me get back to the beginning. So there is a bit of extra stuff about the whole, like, thing here.
So, like, I get you and Cedric are twins, right? And I also get that your elemental powers can come from your personality. But Professor Starling also mentioned that there's influence from your family lineage that helps determine what element you get.
Which I'd say is partially why Joy had. Well, not partially, because it seems like Joy here is. I'm blanking. It really does look like Joy has a. No. Because she's royal, which cannot be disputed. She has fucking wings, okay? She has wings on her back. That, as the book had said, is a mark of royalty. I know, what shock. The possession of wings is a mark of royalty. So the fact... Stupid water bottle getting in the way. The fact that she has wings means that she is royal.
So, what I'm trying to say here is, why do you and Cedric have such different powers? Wouldn't being twins mean you both get the same element?
Well... The elemental powers can come from your personality. Yes, they're fraternal twins, maybe even technically identical twins. But oh my goodness, frickin' stupid girl, like they could not be any more different. Cedric is the snooty academia-oriented twin, and Benji's just the happy-go-lucky, haha, I'm doing whatever it takes guy. Like life is just coming at me, and I'm gonna go with the flow. So yeah, they're gonna be very different, and their powers are very different as well. I forget what Cedric's was, but Benji's is definitely like fire. So yeah.
Well, that's obvious. I don't know.
Do neither of you pay attention in class? For the record, I take after my father in personality and element. As the headmaster said, patience and perseverance runs through me.
Doesn't sound like he's all that patient with Benji, though. But then again, who would be patient with that kid? Then again, I'm pretty sure... Wasn't it... I think the whole, like, Benji Rosie thing was a fanon ship, not actually canon. I could be completely misreading into it. But I'm pretty sure Gwen was saying how she was, like, interested in Cedric in an episode. Again, like, it has been almost a year since I've watched any of this. I'm basically playing catch up here. Damn, I'm still not even connected to my own Twitch chat. Hello? How am I supposed to moderate if I can't even say anything in the chat? Come on! But, we have that. But damn, it's just been so long. I really do need to get caught up on everything. Because, mind you, like, this comes out to multiple hours. Let me start counting it up, actually. Add to new window, then shrink it dinky down. Shrink it down. Alright, let me just shrink it down. Uh, 23, 4 equals 40. Nope. To 18, 26. Then 18, 36. Then 26, 30. 26, 0. 1, 9. 1, 4. 2, 12. 26, 23. 27, 51. 3, 23, 56. 26, 22. 20, 28. It comes out to 4 hours. The 4 hours. Let me just close that down. That is genuinely crazy. Let me just put it in here. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Yeah, that is kind of a long time, if we're being completely honest. But, yeah. Just scooch you over a little bit. You have this.
Benji, however, has always been a firecracker, I suppose taking after a mother.
His sigh as he's Benji. He cracks me up, honestly. Like his disdain for his brother because he's always just a wild card is hilarious.
Whoa, that's actually really interesting. I wonder what my elemental personality was supposed to be.
You don't have an elemental personality, Joy. Like, we have so little knowledge of how it works. There's no way in hell we'd be able to decipher like what your personality is based on your element because we don't have any baseline to compare it to.
It's probably something sick, like awesomeness and coolness.
Obviously not, because, well...
That's ridiculous. They would never assign a person to a house based on vague expressions like awesomeness.
Hey! I know for a fact that you don't know much either, so you never know. My theory could be right. Besides...
This particular scene is important here.
Elliot, my man, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while.
I've been alright, Benji. How's the council been in my absence?
Notice the music change from the kind of lighthearted to now it's a lot more dark. She actually did a pretty damn good job with the sound design and the music choice placement for these scenes.
Pretty good, but nothing makes up for the presence of our great student council president.
Well, now that you're back, we can finally get some work done.
We've been arguing incessantly about financial statements, and no one but you seems to know how to handle the two of us.
Well then, I guess we should get started.
Oh, wait. Before that, can we...
Rosie, mind grabbing the list of events that are coming up soon?
Wait, just before we do anything...
Benji, give me a rundown on how the students are feeling.
Notice how he keeps on shutting her down.
Elliot.
Well, what is it you'd like to speak about?
Well, I just want to know. Have I done something?
Damn, this series makes me want to animate it so bad, but I'm total dog shit at animating. Like, if I actually went to school, like, if I ended up going to a school for, like, animating stuff, like, reanimating this entire series would be, like, my big project. Even, like, an episode would be pretty hefty. Like, if I wanted to be like, okay, I'm gonna be, like, proving this, I'd animate the entire thing. Probably also remaster the first few episodes. Maybe get the voice actors and whatnot to, like, redo their lines. Just to be, like, cleaner and whatnot. But damn, I love this series so much.
Are we still friends?
Of course. Why wouldn't we be?
It's just that you've been ignoring me, and frankly, I'm hurt. This all came out of nowhere.
Notice here, the music changed again. This scene is crucial. Notice the tension in the air because of the music.
Is Joy here? I need to... You!
What on earth are you doing, Caspian?
What I should have done a long time ago. All of us have been deceived. Elliot's been lying about who he truly is, and how he's involved with everything that's happened to Joy and I.
This especially made me almost solid in my belief that Elliot is the apprentice, and by proxy, that his father is the leader of the Eye. Especially because, like, after, in this episode, let me scroll out again, when... Okay. Oh yeah. Like like in this scene, he talks about like how the thing was how the school was burgled, and like the school property was stolen, and then he turns to Elliot and just starts berating him. Like, every single time you prove me right, you are utterly incapable. Student council president was a joke. You can't even handle the simplest responsibilities without making a mess of things. Do you even think before you act, or is failure just your natural state? You disgrace this position, this school, this family. You're not a leader. You are barely even competent enough to be a follower. You are and will always be a disappointment. Elliot, the only thing you excel at is proving how worthless you really are. And I will find out who did this, and when I do, you will wish you had never even set foot into this academy. He's just absolutely beating on his son. So, because that school property is the book connected to the winged ones, the fact that he's so angry, it's not just that a book was stolen, I don't believe. It's that the book held things that the headmaster wanted to keep secret. This is exactly what you do if you have secrets that you want to keep secret. You have things that you want to keep secret. This whole thing. And Caspian had found out, mind you, July 2nd, 2025. In case you couldn't see it, there it is. The final episode. Which, like, we have this reveal that Elliot is tied to it and everything. And then, well, I'm just gonna let the rest of it play out.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sorry, let me just...
I'm not gonna stand here and watch you hurt Elliot, Caspian! Get off him!
Can everyone just calm down?
Can all of you stop? Elliot, Cedric, Benji, Rosie, Glenn, Caspian, what have I done?
Excuse me? I did not realize that my own live stream would be here. What? God, this is too funny. This is too funny. Oh my God, this is just too funny. My own stream as I'm streaming is showing up in the sidebar. Oh my God. Anyways, so if we pull back,
Can all of you stop?
so as she says that, all these particles just appear And if I recall correctly, like these are just like magic particles. These are end rod particles, by the way. Like they're the particles that are used to like show glistening around an end rod. But she ends up she ends up knocking everyone out. There's one slight question that I have about the whole thing. Although their positions do tell a certain story that I think. Um, Notice how all of them are like blown backwards, basically. Wait. Nope. Okay, I thought this was like snow or something, but no, it was. So I believe what happened is she like let out a huge blast of air and basically just knocked everyone out. Um, and she's like scared about like what's going on.
Cedric? Benji? Rosie? Glenn? Caspian?
Like her that little line there, like with her saying Caspian. I took that as like a clue that there's like this whole relationship thing going on between them, that oh, she's in love with him or something. But yeah. Also, I was like super obsessed with film theory at the time. The next theory I have about the episode, is that the series really, is that the second season will be a lot darker than this one. Basically, in season 2, Elliot dies, Joy has to recover from that, Caspian is the one bright spot in her life. The two of them basically tag team with the rest of their friends to take down the Eye, and if there's anything more, it's probably just going to be Aftermath, or maybe them losing against the Eye and having to fight the uphill battle for the rest of the entire show. Maybe, just maybe, there's a happy ending with Rosie and Benji, Gwen and Cedric and Joy and Caspian becoming the new heads of Novacrest after the teachers one by one sacrifice their lives for their students, but I doubt it. Anyway, it's dark, but that's just a theory. And then like someone else is like, whoa, that's actually smart. Damn, they're actually still part of the server. And another series like I've been watching, I technically had been pirating it, but screw Crunchyroll, was like Ruby, which I had been watching like the earlier stuff from before it all turned like gay performative stuff, which honestly, like I'm more upset about the performative anything. I'm more upset about performative stuff than about the actual thing itself. Like if you're gonna be gay, be gay. I'm totally fine with that. But don't parade it around. Like we're crying out loud. Being like, oh, I'm trans and I'm gonna show everyone that I'm like, no. No. Just shut up about being trans and just be trans. If you make a whole hullabaloo about it, you can't really complain about people making a whole hullabaloo about you. Because you're the one starting the hullabaloo. But if you just be trans, if you just live your life and don't make a whole hullabaloo about it, very few people are actually going to find problem with it. But it's like the performatives that piss me off, and then, of course, the nefarious ones, the people who will go out of their way to cause other people harm. But that's neither here nor there. Anyways, so like I've been watching Ruby and Hillcrest by Chapter Plus. Hillcrest especially. I swear to God, I am so glad that that series is getting us come back, because that ending was one of the most emotionally devastating endings to anything I have ever watched. Like, I joined the Discord specifically to rant about how unfair it was that story had ended in such a way. I am not kidding. Then Primini was like, I concur with the nightmare sequence, confirming our previous theories about who she is, about who is head of the Eye, and who the apprentice is. However, after she started the nightmare, she was in a place where she hadn't been before, a place that almost looked like a barn or stable. The Eye being in this location leads me to suspect perhaps Professor Wolfgang to at least know about the Eye or even be a member of the Eye, only because they would spend the most time around the stables. And if Joy can find the entrance within the first 5 seconds of being there, then Wolfgang would definitely have found it. Furthermore, in the nightmare we witnessed events that Joy would have had no idea about because she has not been made aware of the Eye, as far as I remember. And even if she had, she definitely wouldn't know what they look like or how they would talk about. And then Jack Skillexi, I don't know who that is. What? Huh. Jack Skillexi is like, perhaps her element is more than just air, and that's why she's a target. Which does play back to but it's like the element being more than just air. Perhaps the ancient magic is being able to have visions. But even so, like, how would her mother? Because she's the last of her line. Like, she's an orphan, unless she's not actually an orphan. But then where's her mom? Because again, it's been centuries, which is something that's said in episode 1. Like how how unlikely Joy having the element is because it hasn't been seen in centuries. Um, uh, uh, I mean, this leads to the idea that Joy can have visions, as you suggested, since we can assume she has more than just air. I mean, it's logical to assume that the reason that she is in the mortal world was because her people were being hunted, and to protect her, they sent her away. This is a very common trope. But why would someone hunt someone because they can manipulate the air? So they would have to be more important. This ties back to the ancient magic that is only vaguely stated in the previous in the Latin text. Criminy comes back. This can also be assumed because later in the episode they were talking about how both the personality and lineage can affect what element you can control. This can also lead to the idea that maybe a person can learn more than one element, sort of stealing from ideas posted in MHA. Not sure what MHA is, but whatever. Maybe the constant mixture of elements will eventually lead to more powerful magic users and even people being able to control more elements than one. There's also the fact that she's able to pick up on stuff. I mean, spoilers if you haven't watched it yet, but she was able to fly first try, which is true. Like, she gets shoved off, and then instantly she's able to start flying. And, like, apparently we'd also discussed that in a previous theory. And talking back, like, I'm going to reverse that and use Demon Slayer logic. The elements came from someone who had air. Their kids got the other elements. Like the sun breathing brought about the other breathing cycles. I don't know about Demon Slayer, but whatevs. But moving on, after Joy woke up, she mentioned that it was, quote, another nightmare, meaning she keeps having these nightmares. And more importantly, she didn't say that nightmare or anything similar. This means that Joy keeps having nightmares of the Eye. And each one is different, reinforcing the idea that she has some form of third eye magic. Wordplay. The eye is after her because of her third eye ability. But, yeah. Moving on, I don't think Elliot was slipping into the evil role, but more feeling guilt for it. For one, hiding the truth from all that he calls friends, and two, trying to kill Joy multiple times. He didn't seem so much as standoffish, as more so detached or distant. All similar, but connotation and tone matters for the intent and where you plan to go from there. Elliot, not addressing Joy at first, further expresses guilt, as when he finally addressed her, he didn't show annoyance, malice, contempt, or anything similar, but instead showed more sympathy, guilt, and emotions in line with these. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I would want to talk to someone who I tried to kill several times, or confront them in a direct way until they initiate contact. That is practically unavoidable. This guilt is also shown by him not trying to fight back against Caspian, but instead allowing him to pin him because there was water in the room, whether it be like water in a water bottle or a pipe in the walls. Elliot could have used his spell to stop Caspian. And Elliot would have had a decent chance of winning because in the water versus fire fight, water typically wins. Joy, at the end, casting that dead spell, also revealed a lot. As Elliot, when he demonstrated his magic in the very beginning to Joy, treated it as more like a physical activity and that it can exhaust you to cast a spell. Joy being able to cast a spell that was able to knock out everyone in the room and not even show the hint of being tired shows that either A, a high potential innately and therefore can use more magic before getting exhausted, or B, reinforces the previous theory they mentioned that Joy was born in the magic realm and had lived there for a few years and had learned to fly/cast basic spells then. See the previous theory for a more in-depth explanation. For theory's sake, I'm going to try to stick with option B, as we have more evidence of this being the case and little evidence about someone having an innate talent for magic, as even Caspian had to practice for a long time to get as good as he is. Then he was the one who pointed out the whole relationship thing, really. He picked up on the tone change in Joy's voice as she went down the line, starting at terrifying and moving to more caring. But like you alluded to, her tone changed based off what her current relationship status with each person was. Terrified, because she hurt Elliot. Terrified that she hurt Elliot because she wanted closure and would be unable to get it if he was hurt. And for everyone but Caspian, it sounded more panicked or scared than, as stated prior, more affectionate towards Caspian. I was like, wow, this is really intense. Again, I am so surprised by it. This was over all this is a year ago. All the stuff that I'm saying here, the nightmare sequence from here on, this is all what I'm talking about today. What? Did I look too far into small moments? Oh, another theory/addition. The music shifts to match the intensity of the moment or the gravitas of the moment. It also shifts to form a character association to certain music. In the nightmare sequence, the music was more of a dreamlike, upbeat tone. This continued until the eye was shown. As the eye started talking, the music shifted to more of an intense, threatening manner. Then she had her more typical background music until Elliot entered. When Elliot entered, the music shifted to the same background track that is played whenever Caspian and Joy were sneaking around, or whenever serious questions / plot points occur. A more mysterious tone, if you will. Shows that Elliot is hiding something, as revealed by Caspian, but also Joy asked a seemingly important question of if they are still friends. The music also demonstrated how the energy between Joy and Elliot changed, as whenever they would meet prior, the music hadn't changed. But, yo, deep analysis! This is good, keep going. The music wasn't near the intensity or chaos, if you will, that Joy has over time associated with the eye, or the music associated with them. So, although it demonstrates the change between the two, it is still reserved enough to provide hope that Elliot might have redemption in the future. Then as Caspian enters, the music becomes more panicked, picking up the tempo, while still reserving the soft tone associated with Joy. And the music crescendos as it builds up to Joy's outburst, if you will. Then after the outburst, when she starts to say everyone's names, she says Elliot, and right after, important that it is after, she mentions Elliot's name. There is a drum roll on what sounds like a timpani. And then when it sounds like your string instruments pick up, these ones being ones associated with hope, meaning there is hope for her friends, but Elliot isn't included in this overture, if you will, and therefore Joy, the creator, leaves Elliot's fate hanging in the balance as she showed out a chance of redemption through the musical piece associated with its entrance, and through the end leaves him without hope. Then Jack Skellexite comes back in. I think Elliot's and Caspian's, if I remember correctly, are either part of it or lead the eye, seeing as they literally have an eye mounted on the wall in the office. They reacted harshly when a book clearly containing damaging info was taken. The way they lashed out at Elliot tells me Elliot knew of and was likely in charge of its protection in some way. Oh, I meant to say their father. And I was like, yeah, that's been a major theory for the entire time. And then I'd asked previously, like, what do you think of my second season prediction? And Primini comes back, like, it is unclear as of now because Joy hasn't announced the season finale yet and there are still more episodes to come. If I had to guess, though, I believe you are correct on calling out Elliot's death. As I mentioned in my rant about music, Joy had it orchestrated to show a hope of redemption for Elliot, whilst also removing a sense of hope for Elliot. Hope for redemption, but not for life. I suspect that Elliot is going to turn on the eye but die in the process. It's only getting like the theory. It's only getting more proof though. And I was like, dude, Primitive Dice, are you on the writing team? And he's like, nah, just in theater. That would be funny, but I don't think they'd be allowed to spill stuff like this. LOL. Yeah, I need you on my writing team. You give such good lore explanations. But in response to the Elliot's death, most likely Jack's Skelexite says Elliot hasn't been getting as much screen time as before, and usually in my experience, when a character that usually gets a lot of screen time stops dropping in amount, either means they are going to be a major plot point soon, or are gonna get killed off. Putting Joy down a spiral of depression, putting Joy in. Criminy comes back and says, "Damn, I cannot say that right." Putting Joy into a spiral down into a depression, perchance losing control of her magic, or maybe discovering dark magic, and giving in to the temptation to use it, hoping to bring her friend back. People who are as compassionate as Joy often seek revenge as well, leading to, as you said, a darker season 2. But I would view it more of as Joy losing herself to power in order to avenge her friends, who obviously she had feelings for from the beginning, even if they have started to shift over to Caspian. Or to follow along the story of she loses control of her magic, Joy, witnessing the death of her friend, has another outburst, if you will, but on a much grander scale, having so much magic pent up from inside from not using it for years. Joy would, in this moment, unleash all of it without control, causing some damage. It's causing most, if not all, of Novacrest to turn their backs on Joy, and in this outburst, either Benji or Cedric would get injured/killed, causing the other to leave out of anger/grief, and their respective lover to leave as well. This would leave her with Caspian and neither Rosie or Gwen, one of them obviously devastated from the loss of their respective lover, because it is obvious that the two of them like one of the twins, and the other would leave with the living twin. That's my take anyhow on what season 2 would be. Relative to what you predicted to season 2. Thoughts? Oh, wait. Disclaimer! Theories for season 2 on my part are based on little fact and mostly speculation. Jax comes back. I think Joy and the air elementals aren't just magical people. I mean, she grew wings upon unlocking her power. She is capable of picking up magic, stuff super fast, and in general seems to have a higher affinity for magic than those we are told grew up with it. I think the air elementals are actually part of, not full, angelic beings, and the reason the other elements exist is because the angelic beings intertwine with humans, and so lesser beings were born with a weaker affinity to magic. Perhaps it's not even air elementals, but rather pure magic, as using air to manipulate water, while possible, would be harder for Joy to have done, even with her ability to pick up on details faster. I think air is what they're known for due to the fact that they can fly, and you can't really see their magic. That's been a debated theory, Primini comes back, that Joy derives from something greater than those around her. Jax, I mean, I don't see any other elemental gaining features from their magic. And while it could be just due to being air, I think it's more so because they are more than what the others are. It's the fact that it's just the air, or rather just Joy, that gets any external features due to their magic element. Well, that does seem fair. Joy is indeed the only student with physical abnormalities, albeit beneficial ones, stemming from her powers. However, to contrast that with what you said about them being angels, remember that back when episode 8, when the Latin text was revealed and I translated it, it explained that the House of Air were descended from a royal lineage. Jax claps back. Royal lineage can be due to them being an angelic or ethereal race of any degree, but yeah, good point. Either way, the air people were clearly hunted due to their lineage, regardless of what form it's in. which is why I still think which I still think is why Joy was in the human realm. She was sent there to protect her from those hunting her family. My extended theory from back on March 7th concluded that potentially there's some sort of time dilation. Okay. Apologies, it's med time. But Jax finishes off the day saying, most likely, seeing as air is a, quote, lost magic, by the time Joy, quote, returns to the magic realm, but to her only like 16-ish years has passed. And we are almost completely finished with it because, like, and the last one is like, by the way, I talked with Joy and she said that although she reads this channel, she doesn't talk in it to avoid giving away secrets. And then the crying emoji comes from Jane. She even... yeah, thanks, Joy, for talking to me in DMs. Primini is like, with what I'm finding is that with each episode, it looks more and more like our previous theories are true. Yeah, I said, it does indeed. Just one day under a year later, we come to today, where I type it in there. And, yeah. And then, so like, well, the funny thing is the next episode will release in time for the 1 year of this anniversary having died. You know where I got that one from? Oh well. I ran the Latin through Google Translate and it came out with this. And I read that, put that out. At least it explains what happened with Nephele. And then I was like, and then I literally was typing these things out on stream. Rating, so since we have gathered the information that would, blah, 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 blah. I'm reading these out on stream and just FYI that someone else was me. And then the whole like having another magic. Let me go edit this though. Boop. 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 Here we go. But yeah, a lot of this theorizing comes down to that. I'm sorry, it's just so funny. On my own stream, to see my own stream recommended to me as I'm doing it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be like, okay, let's just be silly here. But yeah, a lot of this theorizing comes down to that. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm sorry, it's just so funny. On my own stream, to see my own stream recommended to me as I'm doing it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be like, okay, let's just be silly here. But yeah, a lot of this theorizing comes down to that. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm sorry, it's just so funny. On my own stream, to see my own stream recommended to me as I'm doing it. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be like, okay, let's just that's just be silly here.
But yeah, a lot of these theorizing comes down to that.
Oh my god. Oh my god. At this point, there's gonna be 4.
I'm sorry, it's just so funny. On my
Silly here.
but yeah,
Yeah. Okay, before it goes too far, let's just end it there. Oh, okay. That is just too cursed. That is just too cursed. Watching my stream on my stream on my stream on my stream. Okay. But yeah, for the most part, that is what we have here for Novacrest Academy. Again, I'm gonna probably go back and edit the description again to put a link to this playlist. And yeah, honestly, like this has been a really fun stream, if we're being completely honest. I've really I've really enjoyed doing I've really enjoyed like looking into this and all that and yeah, I'm just gonna turn that off and yeah, let's just get back to this phase because it's it is pretty interesting, honestly, because it has been a full year since anything was released. And it is so cool to see a series that I have loved so much, that I've poured so much thought into like analyzing, that it's finally getting a comeback. So I'd say my closing statements at this point are that, well, y'all need to watch the whole series. Like, come on. I know it's like over, yeah, I know it's 4.5 hours, but it is so worth it. It is so, so worth it. And I know what, oh, man, I am burping. I am so looking forward to this new episode. Like, it is in 3 days. 3 days. We are so almost here. It is insane. But yeah, thank you for watching any of this. I hope y'all tolerated my ramblings. And yeah, I hope that on the 15th we'll be able to do a whole like live reaction to it, which believe me, I will be so freaking out about it. Like I will be going nuts this Wednesday. And then on the next day, because it's my fucking streamaversary, I'm gonna invite a lot of people from there to try to come into a collaboration or something with me. And so we can actually talk about the episodes. It is so cool, honestly. Like this series is just, I just love it so much. And I really, really want to see it succeed. Anyways, as always, stay safe, stay sane, and stay whole. Bye!